In Activity 6, Clouds, students discuss the phenomenon of clouds and observe clouds outdoors. They first learn how clouds form, then observe and classify clouds, and finally discovered that clouds can be used to predict weather. You will need the following materials from the kit: Activity Sheet 6, Parts A and B, blue construction paper, cloud chart, bags of cotton balls, packages of cotton swabs, bottle of glue, and a clear plastic jar. You will also need to provide black crayons, scrap paper, grease pencil, and tap water. To prepare for Session 1, make 1 copy of Activity Sheet 6, Part A, and 2 copies of Activity Sheet 6, Part B for each student. In addition, make a copy of the cloud chart for each student. Note that this activity must be conducted on a day when there are clouds in the sky. About a week in advance, place a clear plastic jar of water on a sunny windowsill and mark the water level with a grease pencil. Ask students to keep an eye on the water level to see what happens. Each student will also need 1 sheet of blue construction paper, about 10 cotton balls, some glue on a piece of scrap paper, a cotton swab, and a black crayon. To begin Session 1, bring students outdoors and ask them to describe what clouds look like and how they move. Answers will vary depending on the sky conditions that day. The clouds may look like cotton balls, cotton candy, whipped cream, soap suds, or fluffy pillows. Students should note that all clouds drift slowly across the sky. Ask students, how much of the sky is covered by clouds today? Again, answers will vary depending on the weather. Then ask, how would you describe the sky today? Explain that the sky is said to be clear if there are very few clouds, partly cloudy if some of the sky is covered by clouds, and cloudy or overcast if most or all of the sky is covered by clouds. Back in the classroom, ask students, what do you think clouds are made of? Students will probably say clouds are made of smoke or steam. Accept all reasonable answers and then inform the class that clouds are made of water, and encourage students to think about where this water comes from. Then, tell students to check the water level in the jar that you placed on the windowsill a week earlier. They should notice that the water level has gone down. Ask students, where did the water go? Students will probably say that the water has disappeared into the air. Explain that when liquid water disappears into the air, it is actually held in the air as water vapor. Help students understand that water vapor comes off of oceans, lakes, and rivers. Explain that clouds are made up of tiny droplets of water and form when water vapor rises up in the sky. As it rises, the water vapor is exposed to cooler air and cools to become liquid again in the form of tiny droplets of water. These water droplets form clouds. Ask students, do all clouds look the same? Students should have observed that clouds have different shapes and vary in size, color, and height or altitude. Next, distribute the cloud chart and bring students' attention to the 3 basic cloud shapes. Cumulus clouds are white, puffy, or billowy heaps. Cumulus clouds are towering clouds, up to 3,600 meters from base to top. Stratus clouds are low, layered, grayish-white clouds that can cover the whole sky, making the sky appear dreary. Stratus clouds near the ground are called fog. Cirrus clouds are white, feathery, wispy curls high in the sky. Help students understand that the sky may contain more than one type of cloud at a time, and that clouds may also appear together in any combination. Then, bring students' attention to the pictures of storm clouds on the 2nd page of the cloud chart. Point out that nimbostratus clouds are simply a heavy layer of low, thick, shapeless, and very dark stratus clouds. Cumulonimbus clouds are heaped, dark gray clouds that can grow very tall. Distribute the materials and instruct students to use the cotton balls and glue to make models of the 3 types of clouds and label each type. Students may arrange the cotton balls in heaps to represent cumulus clouds, pull apart the cotton balls, and then roll the fibers into ropes for the stratus clouds, and pinch off pieces of cotton to represent the cirrus clouds. Next, distribute a copy of Activity Sheet 6, Part A, and the first copy of Activity Sheet 6, Part B to each student. Then, bring students outdoors twice a day for 5 days to observe the clouds. Students should record their observations on their activity sheets. To conclude Session 1, distribute the second copy of Activity Sheet 6, Part B at the start of the 4th day. To prepare for Session 2, students will need their activity sheets and cloud charts from Session 1. To begin Session 2, have students review their activity sheets and ask, what did you notice about the clouds this past week? Students should have observed that the clouds are constantly moving and changing shape. Then ask, why do clouds move? Why do they change shape? Students should recall from activities 4 and 5 that clouds move and change shape because the wind blows and pushes them. Then, ask the class specific questions about the types of clouds students observed from day to day. For each cloud observation, ask students to recall what the weather was like at the time. Next, explain that different types of clouds correspond with different weather conditions, and instruct students to review their completed activity sheets and compare their cloud observations with the corresponding weather conditions. Ask students, do your observations agree with the information on the sheets? Do you see a relationship between cloud types and weather conditions? Finally, inform students that in the next activity, they're going to learn what causes the water in clouds to fall to Earth, and what can happen to that water on the way down. To conclude Session 2, display students' cloud models on a wall or bulletin board. For science background, reinforcement activities, curriculum connections, and information about the Delta Science Reader, please consult your DSM Teacher's Guide.